Premier League predictions. I believe this is the right time to do it because the Premier League starts this Friday and we're only a couple days away from it starting. And we got Arsenal Crystal Palace on Friday, which will be an exciting game and a tense game for me. But while I'm recording, Cucurella and De Jong right now are the two signings that could be occurring anytime this second while I'm recording. So they're both linked to Chelsea heavily and Cucurella to Barcelona as well. And I just think as of right now, I'll get into Chelsea and these two transfers if they possibly go into Chelsea when I get to their position. But let's start off with 20th. We got Bournemouth. Bournemouth, by far, in my opinion, they're going to be done and dusted, relegated at me after the season. 20th place, they're the worst team. When they go up, you don't really got an exciting player, in my opinion. You got Mitrovic of Fulham, who is a player that can get 15 goals this season. I don't see in Bournemouth anybody that could get 15 goals. There's nothing exciting. There's not quality for the Premier League, so I just think they're going to be last place. Now at 19, Everton, Frank Lampard, his first full year, if he even gets the full year, because I think Frank Lampard won't last a year. I think he'll get sacked. I think Everton, they just lost their best player, Richarlison, and I think it's done and dusted. They're relegated. They were this close to getting relegated, and they had Richarlison. They're going to be getting Calvert-Lewin back, but I just think it's done. We'll have Calvert-Lewin getting transferred maybe January or next summer, but Everton is done. They're going down. And yeah, I think Frank Lampard is going to show he's not really cut out for the relegation battle, and he's going down. I'll be very surprised if Everton keep him next year and he gets relegated. So I think he'll get sacked around, January, February. But we'll see on that one. And then we got Leeds is the next team. You lose your two best players by far in, Rafinha and Calvin Phillips, and you replace them with a couple Americans that nobody really knows much about, but we'll see how they go in. But I just believe Leeds is going to get relegated. I don't believe in the manager they got in Marsh. I don't think his style is really Leeds worthy. I think Leeds is I think Bielsa worked because it was a hard-working team, and Leeds is a known team that could be very physical. And then Marsh, his style isn't very physical, it's technical, and I just think in the Premier League, full year, it's not going to work. You're one of the low teams. This is why Burnley survived so much, because they were a team, park the bus, get physical, get that one chance, 1-0 wins. They weren't looking to dominate the other team with the lack of quality. They were looking to beat them, and I think Leeds won't be able to do that. And I think they will be relegating, so only one team that went up will be going down. I think it's Bournemouth. That's what happens when you have a lack of investment. And then, let's get into a team that, scrapes relegation. They were this close. And I put them at first relegating. But then I remembered, the player that I just mentioned, Mitrovic. I think he's going to get double-digit goals. And I think when you got a guy who has the potential to get double-digit goals in the Premier League, you've got a chance to stay up. That'll be Fulham. They're going to stay up. Very close, but I think Mitrovic will be the difference. They did just sell one of their young playmakers in Carvalho to Liverpool, but I think got a guy, a goal scorer like him, who in Serbia, I've watched him a couple times against Portugal. He still scores his goals. He's still good. So I think this guy's quality, and he's going to be doing bits in the Premier League, and he's going to get his double-digit goals, and they're going to survive. I got Southampton at 16, which I think is a very fair position to place them. They did lose a couple key players like their goalkeeper and Broja, who goes back to Chelsea, and I just think this team is always underrated, always being predicted to go down in relegation, but this team always surprises people, and they do better than they should have, and they take big points from big teams. And I think this is going to occur again this year. They still have Ward-Prowse, who is probably their best player, and he is a free kick specialist. When you got a guy who is a threat, top of the box, free kicks, most of the time he scores them, you're going to have, that's going to gain points right there. A free kick that is scored almost every game, well, obviously not every game, but very consistently from Ward-Prowse. A goal like that being made from free kicks, obviously you're going to be taking points out of that. And Ward-Prowse is very key. And the day Ward-Prowse leaves Southampton, if he ever does, I think that's when Southampton will get relegated if they don't manage to replace him. I just think he's so valuable to the squad. And as of now, they'll stay up at 16th, which is fair. Come on. Then at 15th, I've got Brentford. Brentford, kept most of their players for next year. And then they've added Aaron Hickey, a fullback that Arsenal was targeting for depth, and they ended up getting Zinchenko instead. But Aaron Hickey's still a good player. I remember watching a couple of his film in Italy, and then, I said, this guy's decent. He reminds me of Tierney a lot. He's an attacking fullback. He's decent defending. And, Brentford will go and swoop him up. That's fine. And I think this team at 15th is a fair place to say it's not as good as last year. But the thing is, their team isn't all that. They've got a great number 9. They play a 5-back. They got a decent center mid. Now they're adding a fullback. And, they got a quality manager. I do like the Brentford manager. I think he's really good, and I think he's going to keep this team up. And I think big teams are going to be calling in for his services because he's doing a massive job with Brentford, who has been it's been a long time since they've been in the Premier League, and they managed to get in last year. And then not only that, they stay up and having a successful year. Wow, I think they're going to do the same thing again, and I think Brentford's going to be scared of losing this manager. Then at 14th, we got Nottingham Forest. Yes, before you get scared and you're like, what, is this guy think this team's going to go win the league? No. Nottingham Forest made a lot of signings. They got a ton of players brought in. They've got Lingard, Dean Henderson, They got quality players coming in, and I think Nottingham Forest have done the right thing that every team that should be promoting should do, because they bring in a lot of Premier League quality players, exciting players, and now they're going to do decent next year. I think they're going to have a Brentford-esque season where they finish, a little high on the table than most people expected. And 14th is a fair position over the mighty Brentford. So I think this is a great place to put a team like Nottingham Forest, where I think Jesse Lingard is probably going to shine, because now all he has to do is focus on his football 1 week at a time. And, the lad is decent. I'm surprised it went to Nottingham Forest. I would have thought West Ham would have been calling in. But, it is what it is. Now, at 13th, we've got Brighton, who fall from 9th to 13th. But the thing is, they're losing Bizumwu to Tottenham, and they're about to lose Cucurella. Cucurella was a quality player last season, and I believe, they're going to sell him. You got big teams like Barca, City, Chelsea, all calling for him. 50-60 million is the reported rumored fee. And I believe, you're going to let him go. So you're going to lose 2 key players in Cucurella and Bizumwu, which Bizumwu I think is Premier League quality. And then Cucurella, I'm very high on him. When I watch him, he's a very energetic, explosive, exciting player. Type of left back I would love at my club. I wanted Cucurella. And he's going to be going to either Chelsea, City, or Barca. And I think this guy, losing him, is going to be it's going to be the biggest hole, in my opinion. He plays left back. We'll see who they get. I think they're in talks with the left back youngster from Chelsea. So if that happens, then they most likely sold him to Chelsea. And, this guy's good. He's really good. So I think that's going to be a major impact to Brighton. So from 9th, they go to 13th, which isn't terrible for them. They also have a quality manager as well. And I think, he's also going to get a call from a big team eventually. But Brighton, 13th, is my... At 12th, I got Wolves. Wolves is a decent team. I think they're a mid-table team. They didn't really do much. I remember Ruben Neves was in talks to leaving. He doesn't leave. That's a key player to keep. I just think this team, is going to be similar to last year, mid-table, 12th position. I did see some people saying Wolves is going to relegate. Wolves is close to relegation. I'm like, pump the brakes. There's a lot of quality on this team. The manager seems to be doing a fine job. I'm not going to say big teams are going to be calling for him like they did for Nuno, but I think they've learned from that, and I think he's going to stay at Wolves for a little bit. And, 12th position, it's a mid-table team. 11th place, Crystal Palace. You're going to be losing Conor Gallagher in the midfield, who was, a player to watch, and he was honestly really good. And Chelsea getting him back, it's big. But losing him is even bigger. So Crystal Palace, 11th. It's not a bad place. Patrick Vieira, he's doing a fine job with the club, and I think 11th is a fair position to say for them. They still have like Wilfred Zaha, Eze, and they've got Guehi, who, is having playing time with the English national team, so he's a quality defender. Maybe soon an English team that's big is going to be looking at him, but as of now, Crystal Palace still has quality even after losing Conor Gallagher, and, mid-table, 11th, come on, that's fair. Now at 10th, we've got Aston Villa. They did have a couple cheeky signings. They permanently kept Coutinho. They bring in Kamara. And, they have a decent team, 10th position. I still don't think they're better than the teams above them. And, last year they kind of fell off. I'm not going to lie. A lot of people thought Aston Villa is the team to watch. And, they were to watch, but they did fall off and they didn't meet expectations. But now I think they're going to come in and do a lot better than last year. They're adding players. They're building chemistry. They have a young player like Ramsey, who I think is one to watch next year. He had a decent year last year, and I think this year he'll improve. So we'll see what happens with Villa. I think 10th position, right in the middle, is a fair position. And, I'm not a big fan of Emi Martinez, but he's still a solid goalkeeper. And then at 9th, yes, West Ham. West Ham had a very electric season last year, and I believe they're going to fall off a little bit, just a little bit. It's still a similar position, but they're going to still fall off. They were on top of the world at one point, semifinal Europa League and all this, and obviously the quality of depth ended up costing them. And I think this year is kind of like a little reset button. They're going to be getting into 9th position, which is not European football. And I think next year, if they buy the right players and get the right depth, they can make a run and get Europa League again, or even better. But, I still got to consider that they are going to be in the Conference League. But we'll see what happens with West Ham. I think 9th place is good. Restart, no more European football. And I don't think anyone wants Conference League. And the goal for them will be Europa League. Now, at 8th position, we've got Newcastle, the mighty Newcastle, who've got unlimited money. But I'm surprised at how reserved they were this transfer window. They did buy a couple players in that center back from Lille. And, I think they're kind of not doing the City where out of nowhere 200 million is being spent. I believe they're kind of doing more reserved because, financial fair play is probably looking at them in the Premier League like, you better, follow the rules, not like City, or we're going to have a problem, because the Big Six obviously feel kind of, warned and scared that they're going to lose their spot to Newcastle. So obviously they took that personally, and most of them were spending over 100 million. And they buy their Haalands and Darwin Nunez's, and Arsenal's buying all these players, Chelsea as well, because they don't want to lose their top 6 guaranteed position that as of right now they're obtained. But Newcastle, soon enough, will be a force to be reckoned with, and 8th position is going to be great. Eddie Howe, great season, everybody's going to be happy. Maybe they make a move in January as well, like last year, where they get Bruno Guimaraes, and he's a complete game changer. So we'll see what they do. A lot of people thought they were going to do a lot more in the transfer window, but I still think this team is solid. When Eddie Howe got in there, and if you compare like the table with Eddie Howe only, not before, Newcastle's like in the top 4 if you only count Eddie Howe's time there. So keep that in mind. So Newcastle's going to do good. Now, 7th place, we've got Leicester City. I still think Leicester has quality. As of right now, Tielemans, who is linked to Arsenal, is still at Leicester, so I'm keeping that in mind. I think he will stay. I don't think Arsenal make another move. So, at 7th position, Leicester, they have a lot of quality. Newcastle was even calling in for James Maddison, They were calling in for him, a quality player. They say, no, we're keeping him. Then Chelsea's calling in for Fofana. They said 100 million or don't even hit me up ever again. So Fofana stays most likely. I don't know if Chelsea's going to break the bank for 100 million for a center back off an injury. Crazy price tag, but I think they just want to keep him. So now Leicester, I think they're all going to keep all their players. No more movement with them, in my opinion. As of right now, that's my prediction. 7th place. And, they get into, I'm pretty sure that's Conference League. I'm sure that's Conference League unless, someone wins the Europa League or something like that. But they'll be getting into Europe again. And now, 6th position. This is where it gets interesting. It's the top 6. I've left the top 6 there. 6th position. I do not think Ronaldo and United are going to be very happy. I think this will be the main factor for Man United if they finish Champions League football or not. Will they keep Cristiano Ronaldo happy? Will he play the games consistently in the Premier League? Will he stay? That's a big question mark. Right now, Eric Ten Hag, unhappy he left early, even though you see like half the squad leaving early too. But no, apparently Ronaldo, to the media, he left by himself. slandering him at this point, but I think if they keep him happy, they have a real chance at getting top four. But I think there's going to be some unhappiness there. We're not going to have a happy season with Ronaldo United. I think we're going to see a lot of Ronaldo-less United. So 6th place is where I got them. They do lose Pogba, but I think that actually helps them out. I think if they had Pogba and Ronaldo with all that drama, not even top 6, but they end up not getting De Jong as well. They get Lisandro Martinez, who's decent. Malacia, I don't know much about him. People are kind of raving about him, saying how he's the next best thing, but I don't know. And Sancho's going to have a breakout year, I believe. He's going to be a player to watch. He might even get a young player. Well, no, I don't know. I think he's too old for that. But right now, United's 6th place is going to be the position that I will have them. Ronaldo and United will not have too good of a relationship. I would not be surprised if he's gone in January or if he's gone this summer. There's time's ticking, Ronaldo. Get out of the club. If I were him, obviously. But 5th place, this is where it gets tricky. I think 6th and down, it's like United, everyone else. Now you got the big 5 for now. And I think Tottenham get 5th. I've been a big, not fan, but a big guy on Conte. And Conte is a guy who succeeds in the league. Absolutely great. But I think he's not going to be able to compete in the league and the Champions League. So that's going to kind of affect it. I know, we won the league with Inter, but this is Inter. All right, this is Tottenham. Inter is a glorified team that's won the Champions League, won trophies. Tottenham, what's their history? What's their players? Harry Kane hasn't won a trophy. None of that stuff. They have had success in the Premier League, obviously, getting 2nd as the best thing ever. That's a trophy to them. So I think 5th place is the best they can do. The signings, I believe, are decent. Bizoma's good. Richarlison, we'll see where he fits. Spence, it's a fullback. He's tired of Reguilon, so brings in this guy. And I just think 5th place. I think he's not really going to bring them a trophy. I don't think so. I think Tottenham's kind of stuck at trophylessness. And Conte won't be able to do that. And he's going to be doing the same thing as last year. Loses the Burnley. And he's like, you got to think when he's saying, it's the players, not me. It's going to be like, all right, the same thing's going to be occurring. And that's going to affect them. They don't get top 4. I think these 4 teams above them are ready to play. And they spent, the right money. And they might even spend more. 4th, Chelsea. I think they get Cucurella. Cucurella is quality, and I don't think they get De Jong. I think he's probably going to end up staying or going somewhere else. But I'm predicting if they get De Jong, 3rd. But right now, 4th with Cucurella if they get him. Now, Chelsea's a quality team. They lose a lot. They bring in a lot. I think that's going to play a factor on why they don't get the top 3 that everyone is predicting. So you're going to have to be building chemistry and all of this. I think last year with Lukaku, you let him go, which is a plus. But who's playing striker now? Are you going to do Havertz? Are you going to do Sterling? Are you going to do Broja? You didn't want Ronaldo. You reject Ronaldo, which I think if you get Ronaldo, you would be competing for the Premier League. So I'm kind of surprised they said no. Even though I think Todd Bowley, I think that's how you say it, wanted him. Tuchel said no. Surprised. I'm really surprised. He's playing with this job there. If you don't get top 4 now, if you get fired there, I'm going to come back and tell Tuchel, you should have got Ronaldo. You would have your job. But now you lost it. We'll see what happens though. Todd Bowley's first year as the owner. We'll see if he even sacks him. This isn't the Abramovich time, This is a new era in Chelsea, and we'll see if he gives time or if he doesn't. But now we check 3rd place. You're going to think I'm biased because I'm a fan, but I think Arsenal spent the right money. I think they're a midfield away from, being at a top level, and I just think top 4 is the goal. Top 4 is everything. Champions League football next year. Please, it's the last year we have quality Champions League before the new format comes in, so please give me one more year of old format Champions League Arsenal, and I think this is the year. I've been watching the preseason games, and Gabriel Jesus is quality. I think we've got our number 9, and Saka, extend, please. Anyways, fullback we get Zinchenko. He's honestly great. I think Tierney should be worried and he should stay healthy. At right back we have Tomiyasu, but he's still kind of hurt, so we're seeing like Cedric playing and stuff, and I don't really want to see 16 games of Cedric in the Premier League. I want Tomiyasu to play. When he's played, he's been quality. Zinchenko and Tierney can fight it out. And, Tierney always gets his injury, so Zinchenko will be playing for at least 20 games in the Premier League. And then I look at Europa League, which will also be a focus, obviously. Who doesn't want a European trophy? Come on, Europa League. Why not? Why not? Bring it in. I don't really care about the FA Cup or Carabao Cup. If we win it or don't win it, as an Arsenal fan, I don't care. Europa League, Champions League, focus on that. Let the youngsters have it. But anyways, second place. This is where everybody's like flipping a coin. City, Liverpool first and second. City second, Liverpool first. Boom, you heard it. Community Shield. Yes, I watched them play against each other. We saw Darwin Núñez as a substitute, and he had a ton of chances, scored a goal, created a penalty, reason why they won. Erling Haaland played the whole game, didn't score, missed like couple sitters. I think that's a kind of a sign of things to come here. So I think Erling Haaland, he's going to have time to adapt. He's going to go on a goal drought. I think he will start figuring it out towards the end of the year. He's going to start scoring a bunch of goals. I think he'll have a lot of success against, little teams. And people are going to be memeing him like, oh, you scored a hat-trick against Brentford. Congrats. Wow, you missed 5 shots against Chelsea. Wow, quality. 100 million for that. Like, that's the things we're going to be seeing. But Haaland will end up being a really big figure at City. I think maybe in the Champions League he lights it up. I don't know. Haven't done Champions League predictions, but in the Premier League he'll struggle for a little bit. Now, they are going to possibly lose Bernardo Silva. If they lose Bernardo Silva, I might have them drop a little bit more. And if they lose Bernardo Silva and let's say De Jong goes to Chelsea, I will probably end up swapping Chelsea and City. Bernardo Silva's quality. But I might end up, like, if that happens, probably Arsenal 4, City 3, Chelsea 2. But they better not lose him. If I'm Pep, I'm like, stay. But that all depends on De Jong. That gives me a kind of some motivation if I'm Chelsea. If De Jong leaves Barca, Bernardo Silva to Barca, like, get De Jong in, man. You're going to make City weaker and improve. That's a good deal if I'm them. But anyways, City, I believe, you lose Gabriel Jesus, you lose Sterling. It's going to end up being an impact. You lose Zinchenko, fullback help. Anyways, I think just Liverpool getting Darwin Núñez. I think Darwin Núñez will be getting the golden boot. Yes, the golden boot, and I think he's going to be a huge factor. Liverpool win the league. And then FA Cup and Carabao Cup, City will win it. I think they have the most depth still, even with those losses. They still bring in Julian Alvarez, who's quality. I'm telling you right now, that guy's good. He's the next best Argentinian thing after the whole Messi thing's over, finally. Supposed to go to the MLS, but we'll see. But anyways, young player of the year will be Saka. Player of the year, Van Dijk. Coach of the year, I would give it to Arteta, but I think he'll go to Klopp because they win the league. And yeah, that's all the predictions I got for you. Leave a comment down below if you think I'm right or I'm wrong. But yeah, thank you guys for watching.